folks, today we're going to do a quick walkthrough of the completed project of the Back to Eden orchard, including the completed irrigation system, drip irrigation on a timer, and new trees in the before section. And stakes now on all the trees that needed it. Here's something interesting. You know, every day when I come out here to work on these projects, I say to the Lord, you know, I'm just here doing the work. I believe that you're directing me in the activities. But, you know, sometimes it's weird how things work out. I just stopped planting trees when I ran out of space. And I did the spacing to have them pretty close. These are about 10 feet apart. And, you know, honestly, I did not plan this, but it just worked out. Every once in a while I get a message from the Lord that this is His, not mine. And, you know, I'm not trying to ascribe mystical properties to numbers by any stretch of the imagination, but it's kind of an interesting set of numbers that worked out here. There are 3 trees per row, and I had just enough room for 7. So there's 7 times 3 is 21 trees total. Kind of interesting numbers, no big deal. Now, something I learned here is I've been doing this all wrong. All these trees that I've planted have survived in spite of it. I've probably been doing it wrong. Every time I dig a hole, I'm trying to do good work and dig a nice big hole, plant the tree with as much of the original root ball and soil that came in the bucket. The mix of soil that I've been adding around the edges and in the hole has been like 50% soil, this sandy, yucky sandy soil, and compost. And the soil I've been planting all of these trees in so far has been way too heavy and way too hot. Even though the compost is theoretically fully cooked compost, it's just been too hot. And so many of these trees that I just planted are they're struggling. They've got a lot of leaf curl and yellow leaves and things like that. I think they're just, they're struggling. But the very last tree that I planted, which was actually to replace one that didn't survive, is this one. And out of all the ones that I just planted, this seems to be the happiest. And I did something completely different, and it's gonna change the way I do this from now on. You know, the soil under the layers of compost and wood chips is just rock hard. I mean, this soil over here is just rock hard. I showed you in the Back to Eden video that it's real dusty and dry on top, but you know, a quarter to a half an inch down, it's concrete. It's like concrete. I mean, it's just packed and very heavy. So what I did here on this tree is I used my potting mix as the soil filler. So, and I made the hole bigger. I think the proof is that works a lot better than what I've been doing. So, you know, how ridiculous is that? I've planted 21 trees, and on the very last one, on the 21st tree, I figured out how to do it right. Oh well. My previous video, the Back to Eden orchard expansion video, you saw how chunky those chips were under the nectarine tree. They're pretty good sized chips, and they really weren't breaking down very well, and they just really weren't covering very well. So I pulled out my wood chipper. It was a huge job, and added a whole bunch more chips, but I ran them through the wood chipper this time and created this much nicer, finer material here, and it's doing a so much better job covering, but it's also going to break down a lot quicker too, which is part of the plan here. Let me give you a little closer look at the stakes I made here too. I'm really, really impressed with this stake. I found it on the internet, of course, and it was so much better way of staking this than the way everybody else seemed to be telling me. Like the advice I had gotten was to make a loop and run these cables to the ground in a triangle fashion, and I'm like, man, I'm going to have all these cables all over the ground to trip all over. And I believe it's the more traditional way of staking, and this has worked out so well the way I did this. Made these just, you know, cut some 2x6s, ripped them in half on the table saw, put a point on them, and drove them a good foot or two into the ground, so they're in the ground nice and solid. And I tried to intersect the path of about a 45-degree angle and then intersect the path here with the tree. And then I took a short piece of the 1/2-inch poly tube and some pretty good thick wire. It's not baling wire, it's thicker than that. And first made a loop around the tree loose, so we've got some nice movement on all of these. The loop around the tree is soft and has allows some movement. And then I put some nice twists in here and then loop it around the wood, and then twist it on real hard onto the wood, so it's not going anywhere on the wood. It's twisted real hard onto the wood and real soft around the tree. And we've had some, you know, high winds out here, and these trees are pretty happy all being staked up, the ones that needed it. And that was a pretty big project too, if you look around the orchard here. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful for you. Feel free to post any comments, questions, or suggestions in the comment section below. And Lord willing, I will see you again real soon. God bless.